All right, let's take a look. I've got a program started here. I've got a couple of prototypes started. Now, notice this indicates I'm sending an array of events to this function. I'm sending an array of events to this function. So here's what the prototypes would look like. Again, I don't have to put names with these. I can just say, now I could, I sure could, but I don't have to. So down here, I'm just declaring an array of 5 ints. And I'll first say get nums. And I'm sending it nums. Now, this might take a little bit of thought. And then I'm going to say, oh, I need a largest, don't I? So int big. And I can say big gets what this function returns to me. So get largest here. And again, I'm sending this function nums. And then I probably want to print this stuff out. So I'll say void print results. I'll send it an integer array. And I'll also send it just an int. All right, there's my prototypes. And again, keeping with the idea, let's write main first, so I'll put print results. Main is just about done. Nums comes first in the list, and then big. All right, there is main. What do you notice about it? Is anybody bothered so far? Let me explain my thought process. I'm saying I'm going to send this array to get nums. What am I really sending? Is it a copy of the array? No, this changes things. When the compiler sees the name of an array without any brackets, what's it think? It's the address of the first element in there. So I'm really sending these 3 functions, I'm sending them the address of the first element in nums. Now we know, if we have the address of something, what can we do? Change it. So that's what I'm wanting to do here. I'm making use of that fact here because I'm going to change that. So let's write these functions. I don't think any of them will take us a real long time. All right, so to get the values here, what am I going to do? I need something else though, don't I? I need that global variable that Joshua was talking about. So I'm going to declare that constant. I don't want this to change. Size. It's going to be an int. Size equals 5. So that means down here I could put size. And down here I can put size in just a minute anyway. All right, so I'm going to say enter. Ooh, how do I tell them how many? Yeah. And then what? For int x starting off at 0 because I want the 0th slot first, and then x less than size x plus plus. Notice the use of that global constant. This comes in handy. Now in the book, what's it doing? It's sending the size of the array as one of the parameters. You can do it either way. I'd recommend doing it this way. It's easier. You don't have to worry about changing it in a bunch of different places. All right, so I'm going to say nums. Oh, I got to name my array up here. I can call it anything I want to here, but it'll match up to nums. So I might as well do that. I'll say nums x.
Doesn't it go before the brackets?
Pardon?
'Cause
It does. I'm thinking Java. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I can say cn nums x. Now, do I have to return anything?
No.
It's void, so I'm not returning anything, but I'm actually modifying that array in here, see? Because this is the address of the first element, I'm actually modifying the array. Okay, so I don't have to return anything. That's why I could make it void. Get largest. Now, put this nums int largest. What's the algorithm say? Who's the first king? First one there. Okay, so I'll put nums 0. And then I'll say for int x equals 0, x, oh, I could put 1 there, couldn't I? Because I've already taken care of the 0th one. X less than size, x plus plus. If what, Caitlin? King of the mountain.
If x is greater than largest.
Getting close. Do I want x? Because x is going to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, nums x. See, otherwise I'd just be comparing the loop counter to the largest. That might mess me up quite a bit. All right, if that's true, now what? Yeah, largest equals nums x. Y'all on the project where you're reading in grades from the file, a lot of you lost points because you flipped these two things around. We weren't using arrays, but you said if test 2 is greater than largest, then test 2 equals largest, which trashed you out. Okay, so now then I've got largest. When this loop ends, I've got the largest number in that array. And notice this would work if I went back up here and changed my array size to 1,000,000. I've never typed in the number 1,000,000 any place. I'm just using size. So, and again, we talked about this last week, but all of us have slept since then. I can put curly braces, but in this one I can leave them out because the only thing in the if statement is this one line, and the if statement's the only thing inside that loop, so I don't have to put curly braces. Now this one, I promised to return something, so I'll return largest. All right, last thing here. Well, I'm still trying to do that the wrong way. Int big. All right, I could say cout. The array is and then I can say for int x starting at 0, x less than size, x plus plus. I can just print them one per line. Cout nums x. Nope. Yep. Well, still didn't get that right. Big. Okay, there's my program. And if you go back and look at this, you'll see I'm using an array as a parameter in 3 different functions.
You wrote largest instead of biggest in the second.
Pardon?
Go up to the second function you wrote largest instead of big for the variable.
Right, because that's my variable, that's my local variable in here.
Uh,
See, largest here is a local variable. It's going to die when this function ends. But before it does, it goes, here you go, main. I'm giving you my value so that something of me will live on. And what happens? See, that value gets passed back up to main, and main stores it in a local variable in main called big. I'm glad you said something about that. That's how I can write a function and not have to know who called me. What's my job in this function? Find the biggest number and send it back. Let's see if this thing will come close to running. Well, it's close. Okay, Brenna, you're our number person.
Oh, 12,
12.
18,
Uh-huh.
24,
I'm seeing a pattern here.
11,
There it went.
32.
And that's it. It did. Everybody that's 18 ought to buy a lottery ticket because I'd never get them to work the first time. All right. Questions? Now, what's one of the dangers? If I'm sending this array as a parameter, really I'm sending the address of the first element in there, what could this get largest function do if it wanted to? It could trash out the whole array, couldn't it? Huh? What if I said for x equals 1, all of this sort of stuff, this, and then I just said, oh yeah, by the way, nums x equals 1,000,000. Could this function do that? Yes. It's like giving me the keys to Joshua's house again. That's what I'm doing. How can I fix that? Okay, so I go back up here to this. Thank you all for reading. I don't want this array to change. I don't want it to change in my print results. And then I come down here. This one I do want it to change because that's why I'm modifying the array. Now, that should run just as well as it did. So, Brenna?
Okay, 13,
13, good even number.
17,
17,
19,
19.
21,
What happened to 15?
23. I don't know. I just don't like 15.
Okay, we ended with the biggest number again. Let's just make sure our algorithm works.
12.
So our get largest is working. All right, thank you, Brenna. Anybody got a question about this? The array? This is really an address. And so anytime you put something in brackets like this, if I say, put it in a comment here, if I said nums 3, what that notation really means is go to nums, the array, and then go to 3 slots beyond the first thing. So that would really be for the 4th element in there, right? If there's a 3 in here, it's the 4th thing in the array because we start at 0. So this is really saying add 3 more integers past that first one. And that's the one I want. So if I'm down here, I've got this one, and look what I'm saying. I'm saying every time through, go to the next element in there. It's already got 5. It's got space set aside for 5 of them. I'm saying let's start filling those spaces up with values. Well, watch what happens if I tried to come down here and I said return. I don't want to return that yet. What if I said something weird? What if this function accidentally did something like, 2 nums 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . 2 . equals 500. I'm getting a red squiggly. What's it saying? Can't modify that array. See, the more functions you have in a program, the more they can accidentally modify something you don't want them to modify. That's why we don't use global variables. If I took this const out here, and I took it out up here, what happened to the squiggly? Yeah, and so it would trash out my array there, right there. That's a good question. Anybody else? Let's pause for a second.